Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar series. So this is the first series that we're going to have in collaboration, of course, with Reddington. We are so glad that Ram will be with us today for this webinar. Um, so, yeah. So get ready for an engaging session. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat if you have any questions, and let us make this conversation worth remembering for. So let's get started. Tolene, Ram, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Isabel, for this introduction.
Welcome.
So I can share my screen.
Yes.
Great. We can see that. Great. Thank you.
Perfect. Perfect. So welcome everyone to today's webinar. So myself, my name is Tulin Awad, and I have my colleague Ram. Ram is from Reddington. I'm from Axienta. Today is a beginning of a very exciting webinar series, actually. So if you signed up, I wish that you have seen our land page. You saw that there's like multiple webinars underneath one big umbrella. So today is the umbrella. Today we're going to walk you from design all the way to build. So we're going to walk from one project life cycle to another. We're going to give you some tips and tricks. We're going to give you a very brief introduction to some of the products in Autodesk, which we find really helpful in the project lifecycle. Of course, there might be more products, but these are our favorite to be used from in each of the project lifecycles. So today's webinar title is actually Optimizing AEC Workflows with Autodesk. So I'm very excited for all of you to be joining today. And before we begin, we're just going to introduce ourselves real quick. And Ram, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Tulin. Hello, everyone. I hope positively that you all are in good health. And thank you so much for sparing your time to join this webinar. As we mentioned earlier, this is the first webinar, which we're going to take it as a series. You are expecting a lot more to come up here. So we need to have your comments, how we can just make this webinar more concrete. If you have any doubts and clarifications, you can get back to us. And myself, I'm Ram Prakash Damodaran, Senior Technical Consultant working with Reddington, who is a value-added distributor. And today presentation, we're gonna give along with our Autodesk Gold partner, Axianta, with my technical colleague, Tolin here. The major thing what we have come across here, like there are a lot of changes happening when it comes into the software, when it comes into the hardware, or when it comes to our day-to-day life. Yeah, since we all are into the industry, so-called architecture, engineering, and construction, what are the changes are tremendously happening in this industry, and what are the trends are evolving into the market, and how we have to be competitive in win a lot more businesses, which is also integrated with the right tool sets and also the technology. And that's where we are moving it further. Yeah. So, Tulin, can I ask you to change the slide?
Yes, I did. Oh, you're not getting the change slide?
Yeah. Great. Fantastic. Or I can do the changes from my side. Yeah, that's great. Better. Let me just make it from my side then. Yeah, hope. Just let me know if you all can see my screen. Perfect. All right. So here, the content which we have here today is the continuous like optimizing, right? So it means a lot, when it comes into optimizing, it means a lot, whether it can be from the architectural design perspective, it can be a structural engineer perspective, it can be the mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer's perspective. End of the day, we have to value the project and also we have to save the better outcomes. Yeah. So proceeding further. Yeah, this is what we can just have a better introduction so that you have an idea of whom you're talking with and to whom you can reach out for any suggestions and queries for today. All right.
Actually, Ram, I just noticed that I haven't introduced myself to them. So let me just do that really quickly. Now, again, my name is Tulin Awad. I'm a technical specialist and a BIM Collaborate Pro expert at Axienta. I am also an architecture consultant, and I've been working with the Autodesk software since I ever graduated from university and even during university. So I'm very passionate about that, and I hope today myself and Ram are going to be a very big help to you. And if you have any questions, of course, you can go ahead, write them down in the Q&A box. Also, you can write them in the chat box. Or if you remember anything after the webinar, we will be sharing our emails by the end. So you can send us an email whenever you'd like. So thank you. Please go ahead again, Ram.
So I'm not talking much about this slide now because we all are aware of what is BIM, the processes, the connected workflows in when it comes into the construction, and how we can just save the better outcomes and who are the stakeholders that we can connect with. There are a lot of standards, technology, solutions, process, and also the people have to come out of the box and they have to think in a different way of enhancing their skill set. Now, yeah. This slide might be a very popular between you people who are attending this webinar. So we're going to talk more about these phases like plan, design, operate, and those stuff. So when you see all of these phases, it's not possible having one such tool to complete the project. It has to be always interconnected. And that's what we have just now going to be a bit more about the solutions available within these collections, which is called AEC, Architecture, Engineering, and Construction Collections. Yeah. It is the integrated set of BIM and CAD tools that support your early stage design to construction, which means that your project teams can create with ease and explore and what is possible with a built and better confidence. So what are the outcomes that we're going to take up using all set of the solutions available within this AEC collection? You have the ability to come up with a conceptual design, the site surface coordination, environmental analysis, and if you are a structural engineers working a lot more projects with the bridges, roads, and the rail and infrastructure, the steel detailing, and why not the mechanical fabrications as well. So we now see the tools available for individual phases here. We have a design, we have a simulate, we have visualize, and we have a coordinate as well. So Jolene, if you want to share any of your comments also here, your please feel free to share your comments. Or I know you have a lot of points also added in your slides. If you want to switch over the slides at any time, we just let me know so that we can also share more information to the people here.
Great, great. No, actually, Ram, thank you for this introduction because, as you said, we can't have one product for everything. However, we can have, when we start walking through the presentation itself, we can see the solutions that we're bringing, such as Autodesk Docs. We can see how it connects the whole project all at once. But
Yeah.
however, we need to start using, like in Autodesk Docs, we need to also start using, let's say, Revit for the design phase. For visualization, we can go on and using Twinmotion and everything. So now we're going to walk through the presentation itself. We're going to walk you from one project phase to another. So in the design, we're going to give you what we see as the perfect fit, whether it was for BIM modeling, whether it was for the planning phase, and so on. And we're going to walk you through the phases one step at a time.
That's great. Tolin, I think definitely without any doubt, you have a better information on the slides. I guess you have to switch your slides to show that what exactly the digital twin and the Revit all coming up, and later I can jump onto my slides with the better insights.
Perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, please, so that you can just switch your screen. We'll just take it up further.
Great. So let me
I know
just
you have
share the
something
screen again.
surprising there. Yeah.
We're gonna bore you guys with the switching of the sharing the screen. So please bear with us. And there we are. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah. Wonderful. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Cool. So as we are just discussing earlier, the four stages like, kind of a design, simulation, visualization, and the operate. We're going to tell what are the solutions that you can have the better capability of understanding. The reason being is many customers have the confusion of which is the right software to do what. Why I'm getting all this particular software, even I'm an architect, or why I'm not getting this software, even though I'm an architect. I have an imagination of coming up with a real picture. So these are the phases that you can see over here. So the next slide of talking more about the design here. Yeah, Cholin, can you just take me to the next slide? Yeah, great. And here, what do you think that the major tool that comes to your picture when it comes to the drafting or when it comes to your conceptual design? AutoCAD. So AutoCAD is not the normal software that everybody can also just take it into the consideration, but it does a lot of AutoCAD capabilities. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the available verticals in this AutoCAD. If you're an architect, you don't have the time or you don't have the idea of how the Revit works fine. You have a miniature of Revit architecture, which is Autodesk AutoCAD architecture. And for the mechanical engineers, electrical, and the plumbing engineers, you do also have the vertical called AutoCAD MEP. So what differ from the normal AutoCAD to AutoCAD MEP here or AutoCAD architecture? The normal AutoCAD doesn't understand what exactly the architects think, unless you create a wall with using the line, hatch patterns, and so on. But in this AutoCAD architecture, you create a room or you create a floor plan, whatever the design that comes to your mind. Eventually, your documentation, such as the schedules, the quantity takeoff, the hatch patterns, the bill of materials, the rendering views are almost ready for you in order to take it up further. The same happens with your AutoCAD electrical as well, which has got some 1,000+ standard symbols which are needed to be used into the industrial drawings, and also for the raster to vector. You might have the projects which doesn't have the raw data like AutoCAD drawing or the Revit model. What they have here is only the AutoCAD raster images they have. Yeah, you do also have the solution of converting your raster project images to the vector, and then you can just keep the drawing files up and ready for it. Yeah. And the next one. Cool. So without
Okay,
any doubt, yeah, please, Tolly. Without any doubt here, you know what exactly the screen is, Revit. And yeah, Tolin, you can just go with your insights about this.
of course. So Revit is the core of BIM workflows. Actually, it's an industry-leading building information modeling software. It enables multidisciplinary collaboration in a single 3D model. It also supports architectural, structural, and MEP design with parametric modeling. Other than that, it automates schedules, quantities, cost estimation for precise documentation, and lastly, it facilitates interoperability with other Autodesk tools via cloud integration. So here at the screen, we can see that we have a screenshot of Revit. So here we can see how it's integrated with Rhino. We can see how we can create different, let's say, elements, whether it was a simple wall, we can add our windows and so on. And of course, we can link other models into our model itself, like the structural, the MEP, and so on. And then we can have different views of our model, different views of our project. So it's not like AutoCAD or not like drafting with your own hands. If you want to change like one window to the right, you have to erase all of the elements that you have, or if it was drafting with your hand, of course, you need to repeat the whole paper, let's say. But here, whenever you change anything, it's automatically changed in all of the other views, such as the sections, elevations, floor plans, and you can have a customizable view of your own, of course. And lastly, I just want to show you how you can, the level of details when you use Revit itself, whether it was for architectural, structural, MEP. So as we can see on the left, we can see all of these plumbing features. We can also see the level of detailing when it comes to a detailed section, let's say. You can add our some annotations, some descriptions, and these are always used when we want to give out our papers, whether it was for a certain municipality and to get approvals, we want to create our sheets, whether it was for the contractor, for the owner. And basically, Revit is the most powerful BIM software to create your own. And Ram, if you have any comments on Revit, please go ahead.
That's absolutely brilliant. You know what, Revit, many people think about just only for modeling purpose, and when it comes into the 2D detail, it's going to be a tough a lot. But actually, if you can just give it a try of bringing out all the 2D details and the documentation, it's going to be very easy. But the reason here is people who have a very vast knowledge of using AutoCAD, they can easily understand how the detailed drawings can be generated in Revit. Or if you have the sample AutoCAD file also with you, which is made in AutoCAD, you can also link the AutoCAD detail drawing into the Revit, and you can also just prepare those sheets as well. The image, what you see here, it's a mix of architecture and the structural and MEP as well. So in one line, Revit also does the vision brought into the software from the architectural side, and the analysis brought in from the structural side, and the optimizations from the MEP side. So whole to the core, one software which have all the capabilities of bringing the visions to make the stakeholders like the consultants, contractors, subcontractors to understand better, and it is a bi-directional. Yeah. The next slide, Talin. Great. And we do also have the structural analysis solution for all the structural engineers, which helps a lot when it comes into wind calculation, and also with all of the building code complaints as well. The one is called Robot Structural Analysis Professional. And whichever the solutions that you see here, probably if you are using in your project, or you have a plan to use it in your project, or if you need any guidance to give a quick start how to use these projects, please reach out to us. We will also just have a kind of the best practice exercises to understand what exactly the solution is, how to kick off the workflow, and how the procedure will help you to get your vision onto the solutions here. Yeah. And the other slide. Advanced steel. Advanced steel, like how people are using Revit software for the design and documentation when it comes into the architectural modeling. Advanced steel is also the solution for the steel and structural projects, which has got various unique codes, various code compliance issues, and also various standards available over there. And the beauty here is a model which is developed in Revit. And the analysis part where the Revit model goes into a robot structural. You can also integrate the advanced steel to see a complete federated model, which helps a lot to talk more about where the clashes are coming up, or if you are into the warehouse projects, you have a better idea of how the MEP structures can get onto it. Next slide. Great. And you have the reality capture, which means we call it as a scan to BIM, or you have a project where you have to just make out the renovation of it, or you have to just extend the phase for more collaboration when it comes into LOD 400 or 500. You need to know the existing site condition. So normally we have seen people walking around with the mobile phones or with the cameras capturing the areas, going back to the office, and just enhancing that better view of doing the PDF editor, so on. But this one as a machine which helps you to scan the entire existing site condition, and you can also take that point cloud data into the Revit, where Revit also have the extensive tools to make yourself to make the model from scan to BIM as well. It's called as reality capture. Yeah. Next one, please.
That's a very cool software, honestly, and I was recently introduced to it. I think it's very helpful, especially when it comes to taking, let's say, documentation of historical sites. I believe this is very helpful.
That's very good, Talin. That's great. Yeah. And not only this one here, you can also just have these are the conditions to the image what you see here, like infrastructure projects. Look around the buildings, and you see just the roads, the metro station, the landscape, how all of these are coming up. So just quickly starting up a project in this kind of the site conditions is really a nightmare. We need to see what are the existing site conditions, where the bridges are coming up, what's the level elevation when it comes into plumbing fixtures to connect with the drainage system, and so on. So how adequate the things will happen. Just imagine you have scanned up the particular scope using the Recap Pro, and you have the Revit model with you, and you can also just come up with the civil structures. For example, you have a corridors, you have to come up with the bridges, or you have to come up with a better duct lane to it, right? And moreover, what happened to this kind of the projects, when the buildings are rising up from the landscape is expanding more, then how do you come up with various options over here? Yeah, next slide.
So next is Autodesk Forma. Autodesk Forma is an AI-powered early stage design tool. Now, it's a cloud-based design tool for conceptual planning and site analysis. I hope that you heard about it before because it is the future of everything, future of planning, of architecture planning, structural, civil, everything. So basically what it does, it provides real-world contextual data for geolocated projects. So here, we can see different analysis that can be made using Forma, such as wind, noise, sunlight, and a couple of more. So what it does is that it's an AI-driven optimization for, as we said, different analysis, also carbon impact analysis as well. And it's has the smart 3D modeling with seamless integration into Revit, Rhino, and Dynamo as well. So here you can help teams make data-driven decisions early in the design process. Now, I showed you the analysis. What we can also do in the software itself, we can also visualize or compare different analysis together, different proposals together. So basically, this is very helpful before, because we all know most most effective, let's say, decisions are made early on in the planning and design phase. So basically, any decision that you make in this phase will compact the whole project life cycle. So we need to put a lot of effort when it comes to planning early on and making very smart decisions, whether it was related to, let's say, green buildings, smart buildings, and so further.
That's great. Absolutely, Tulin. And all the people joined in this webinar, we just ask you to give it a try of understanding how Forma it is, because that's where we say like a future of your project lifecycle management. And yeah, that's wonderful. So you might have an idea why this picture and what exactly this picture says about. Right. So now you can see the expansion of the landscapes are more, the buildings are coming up more. Eventually, you can see the number of people flow and the number of vehicles also coming into the roads. All right. So how do we manage the roads and infrastructure? We have to come up with the proper road design and also the optimized field in such a way that to avoid the traffic. Yeah, of course. Avoiding the traffic is just not the easy word, but we have to just think about a lot of deviations, a lot of bridges, and the roundabouts here. So that's a product which is called as a vehicle tracking, which is, again, it's not the solution that track your vehicle, the vehicle which goes on the track on the road, right? So what type of the vehicle it is it like kind of I'm just into a residential community where all the heavy duty trucks are stopped over this one and they are not allowed to come in here, I just have only my four-wheel drive or a small cars, then imagine the road width, the road size, and the roundabout designs that you can come up with. And jumping to the other side of the landscape, on a big industrial area, very few small vehicles that you can see, rather you can see a large trucks over there. So for the larger trucks, how about the roundabout design, the diameter of the roundabout, or so how the bridges can come up with, how many lanes that you can come up with? It's all the actual solutions that works a lot when you integrate with all the urban structure as well here. And the other one now, Tolin. Can we go to, yeah, wonderful. Yeah. So we have the civil 3D solution, which can come up with the landscape designs with the better infrastructure. On top of that, you also have the bridges and the roads that can emphasize more of the vehicle tracking movement. But how do we visualize the total infrastructure over here? Like when an architect designing a model, they do also do a quick rendering within the Revit just to see that how the materials are coming up. And the structural engineers also have the calculations to see what is a wind load calculations and such thing. When it comes to the visualizing, all right, when you see the visualizing, that's what the picture shows here in a real time. So how many traffic roads are coming up over here, the type of vehicles are following, and the road lines, and where is the the critical area when it comes into the PCAR, which is the normal area when it comes into the school zone, according to the school zones or airport. It's a wonderful thing that you can come up with the better visualization, which will reduce a lot of time in terms of your design performance. And the next
Can
slide.
you, Ram, tell us the main differences between InfraWorks and vehicle tracking?
Great. So vehicle tracking is a solution which helps you to come up with the tracks. For example, just think about like, you are working on airport projects, all right? In airport projects, the tracks which is not the same as what you see on the roadside, all right? And this InfraWorks, what happened here is you can see, for example, you can see the runway, all right? And you can also see the other, the load base over there. You have to visualize it in a real time. How does it gonna be in a real time? You see the road marks over there and the visualization purpose. And if, for example, if the vehicles are piling up, if they lose the schedule of on offloading, if they lose, then how much the impact that going to happen over here. So where we can have a standby for the vehicles to pass, and one by one they can also just offload the items over there. So vehicle tracking is a different, which will give you the kind of the vehicle, like kind of ambulance, the hospital vehicles, the airports or school buses, the type of the tracks, the road signals and everything. And the InfraWorks is kind of the visualizing them in a real time. Like how we are making the models, taking into the Navisworks and visualizing that. Like that, if you're visualizing it, you can add the landscape, you can add the bridges, you can add the roads. It's like from the bird's eye view, we are visualizing the total structure of your planning. That's great. So I will go to the next slide here. Yeah, then another amazing feature over here. So when you're talking about the vehicle tracking, we need to also understand that, roads and infrastructure signals way. For example, we always say that, oh man, while going to office, we say that this is a short signal or this is a long signal. So how the short signal and long signal are processing in the infrastructure. So this is a good example what you see here. You have a civil 3D file attached, you have the InfraWorks models also visualized attached, and you also have the dynamic parameters on the right side corner to see how the vehicle movements are happening. And this gonna analyze as per the time that you schedule, either it could be a morning hours or in the evening hours. And also it will help you to understand which is the best way here, whether going with the traffic light is the best way or coming up with the roundabout is the best way. If it is a roundabout, how many lines of roundabout lanes that we need to have, what is the size of the roundabout, or is it okay we can just have two different lanes or two different roundabouts in a certain kilometer and one bridge on top of it. Such mobility simulator application which is available to work on top of your InfraWorks. Yeah, that's great, Tulin. Yeah, cool. Okay, can just go to the other one. So yeah, now the other the main important thing here is the embodied carbon emission. Yeah, so we have a lot of energy analysis coming up here. Probably architects need to have the building with the sun and shadow settings. The mechanical engineer will have the building with the proper analysis of heating and cooling load calculations. And that's an application called Insight 360, which will help you to get the generated reports of embodied carbon emission, which is also an important one when it comes into your AEC work projects. I mean, architecture, engineering, and construction operation projects over here. Yeah, next slide, Tali. Great. So, yeah, of course, simulations or the 4D sequence, or when we say the class detections, is the right set of solution from your AEC collection is the Navisworks Manage. It can be used to view your model, the federated model, even though if you don't have the AutoCAD or a Revit or any other software that you want to have the model to view it. It's a model where you can also show with all the integrated stuff like architecture, structure, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and it's like kind of the free viewer. You have Navisworks Freedom where you can have the model inside and you can just view the model free, also like kind of a 3D orbit. And you have the Navisworks Manage where you have the ability to view the model plus come up with the class detections, which is extensive access. You have it for the class detections over here, and also you can do the 4D construction simulation. The video what you see here is a 4D construction simulations. This is what they'll create for to have a better performance and also to have the clear forecast of the project planning and management activity over here. Great. Yeah. The
Before you
next.
go next, can you tell us a bit about adding issues when it comes to Navisworks and how can it be reflected in Revit, let's say, and also in model coordination when it comes to ACC, ABC Pro, of course.
Wow, that's good. Okay, let's go first one. So when it comes into the Navisworks managed, the first thing, it is a desktop application to be installed on the computer. And when you see the BIM Collaborate Pro, it's a cloud application. Yeah, of course, you need to have a license to access both of them, and both of them should be under the same email access, one thing. And the major feature, if you see from Navisworks, so if you view the model in the Navisworks and if you wanted to identify there is a clash or there is an issue, so you have to identify to the particular person who works in the project. Maybe he is using the Navisworks to find the clashes, or he may be still using the Revit. There's a add-in available in the name of issue add-ins for Navisworks and issue add-ins for Revit. So what this Navisworks issues and the Revit issues will do? Me as a person viewing a model in the cloud using the BIM Collaborate Pro. And I want to point out and say that, to my mechanical engineer, I want to have a detailed structure of optimizing the duct because the duct is clashing almost under the beam. So when I add the issue tag in over there, it gives the automatic notification to the Revit user who is working on the project already with that issue add-ins button. He can just refresh the model and the issue where I have pinned on the cloud, the same issue gonna show in a Revit to have the better and the quick decision. At the same time, if I'm the person who is also working the Navisworks, the same issue feature is available in the Navisworks to toggle between that. So bottom line here is pointing the issue, adding the person into the chat box and sending the email notification to the person. The person will wait until the notification comes from you. This one is like periodic. There is quick decisions that you can take. There is no chance of just leaving that time and saying that I didn't get an email notification, or I don't know that where I have to work, though the email notification is showing all the relative errors, but which exact issue number that I have to work on this one. And I wanted to tell the other feature also here. It's been the most common questions asked to me from the customer side. When I have a Navisworks manage, and also I'm working in the projects on a BIM Collaborate Pro. So why I want to have both of them here? Yeah. You can use a BIM Collaborate Pro for your design visualizations of understanding the task and also the design changes of understanding how the design is growing. All right. So if any change happened on your reflected ceiling plan, what are the changes happened? What are the elements changed based on the element? How the MEP project team gonna optimize those designs? All right. But the one which is not in the BIM Collaborate Pro is still only available in Navisworks. Probably you know the answer. Yes, it's a construction simulation. You can do the simulation on your desktop product, which is called Navisworks Manage, but in the BIM Collaborate Pro, you can't do the simulations like what you see just now on the screen, like, moving around the building, just making all the floor slabs and the flashing stones there. So simulations is not in the BIM Collaborate Pro here. I think that could be a good takeaway for all the people attending this webinar today here. Thanks, Tolin, for highlighting that point. Yeah, we'll move to the next slide here. Wonderful. Yeah, yes, 3ds Max, 3D Studio Max. Normally, all the architects, they use the 3D Studio Max or the 3D visualizers. They use the 3D Studio Max to beautify the projects more into the realistic and what exactly the client expectation to bring in the picture. But I have to tell one thing over here. Even though you are spending a lot of time, you put a lot of energy and also just a lot of money on buying the machines and keep the rendering stuff over here. But I'm not sure how many of you are already tried rendering your project scope on the Autodesk Cloud. Autodesk Cloud rendering also will help you to save a time. For example, let's say that you have only 40 minutes for your presentation where you are also just running out of a time. Push your rendering model to the cloud. Once the render is done, the images will come back to your email ID. By the time you can just prepare for your meetings with other supporting documents as well. I think the next slide would be the Autodesk rendering slide, I believe. Yes, it's the Autodesk rendering slide over here. So prepare your scope within the Revit, prepare the views as if how you are preparing the sheets to print, as if how you are preparing the views to publish to the cloud. Like that, prepare the views for the rendering and push the views to the rendering from your Revit to the cloud, and set up all sort of the settings, how much the DPI that you need, what is the clarity, and what level of rendering that you need from the Revit base. Yes, once the rendering is done, the images will get back to your email and you can just use it for it. But this is just for the short rendering. But for the actual commercial rendering to produce, you have to use the 3ds Max for the better rendering visualization. On top of that, there are other programs that can be added to come up with a better, beautiful visualizations as well. Great. Yep.
Next, we have Twinmotion. Well, Twinmotion is a real-time visualization for architects. So as you noticed, we jumped from design all the way to simulation and now to visualization. So we're walking with you one step at a time, let's say. So Twinmotion is actually a very powerful tool to quickly transform your BIM models into high quality visualizations and animations. So it has a seamless synchronization with Revit, with ArchiCAD, Rhino, and SketchUp. So let me show you an example. So this model was created using Revit. And of course, Revit is a powerful tool for BIM modeling. But and using Twinmotion won't eliminate you from using Revit, because both of them are important. Both of them have their own, let's say, outputs. So here for the visualization, we can see the differences between the two pictures. So as we go from Revit to Twinmotion, I'm just going to walk back and forth really quick just to show you how it differs, whether it is to the material itself, whether it was to the elements that we added. And of course, I can show you a video. So this video is a walkthrough from a model that was created using Revit and then rendered using Twinmotion. Now, Twinmotion is basically, it supports VR experiences and immersive walkthroughs for client presentation. It has advanced material lighting and environmental effects for photorealism. So we can see how we have these moving animations, elements. We can also see that the level of details gets to choosing the time of the day. And also we can see how the grass is moving with the wind. So basically that is really powerful to render your software. And as well, you can render using the cloud. It has a very fast rendering qualities. And it's very light on your computers as well. Us architects that are using rendering softwares know the struggle of rendering and how it breaks your computer. So here we are using Twinmotion. So I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough.
Actually, I think this also can be easily integrated with the VR and AR segment so that we can make the clients to visualize more rather, just like sharing the PDF editor or the images. We can actually give the feel to the client that, what is their design is coming into the expectation. And this visualization also will give them a better idea of quick decision makings and also a lot of design changes as well.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you, Ram. Thank you, Ram, for this comment.
Good. Yeah. So now let's go to the coordination over here. Yeah, it plays a major role here, guys who are joined in this webinar. Like kind of design, we can just say the design, and it's nothing without any coordination plan. Nothing happens without any great minds ideology. All right, and the simulations, it doesn't happen without engineering calculation behind. And coordination, it doesn't happen without a great minds ideological when it comes into the real world. So the Navisworks manage, which gives you the real design review of understanding your systems, your architectural, the structural elements, and the clashes. And also you can just take a chance of whether you want to mark that as a proper clashes or you can just mark it as an issue. Suppose I wanted to just find out the carpet. Carpet is not clashing anywhere into my living room, but I have to change the color of the carpet or the material of the carpet or totally some other texture of the carpet. That I can mark it as an issue like that. And you have a huge duct on the critical ceiling area. You can just have a decision making on it. So what happened here is, using the clash detection tool, you find out the clashes, and this is where you also gonna connect this on the cloud. Yes, Navisworks Manage also have the feature taking your clashes to the cloud directly, and that cloud is integrated with your Navisworks Manage and also to the Revit. So earlier I was mentioning about the Revit issues add-ins and the Navisworks issues add-ins. So those matters a lot over here. If you just put a pin on the steel over there, and that gonna trigger us in the Navisworks also exactly where exact the issue is, who is working on that issue, and what needs to be done. Is there required any RFI? And the same thing also can be pointed out in the Revit. So the coordinations will happen without a phone call, without a lot of email communications, and without a lot of WhatsApp chat on it. So we eliminate all those, and we can be on the same page to give the best design out of this in the federated one. And the other solution from this coordination part. Yeah, Tolin, the next one. Yeah, here it comes, talks. I think, Colin, I know you have a lot stuff to talk about the docs, so I think I can just give it to you. You can just describe more about the Autodesk docs feature over here.
Thank you, Ram. So Autodesk Docs is a centralized document management tool. It organizes, distributes, and shares files on a single connected document management platform. So this ensures that all team members have access to the information they need. So again, why do we need Autodesk Docs? It's for document control, document versioning, document approvals. So basically here it connects teams, project teams with centralized access to BIM project data in the cloud with no need for costly IT setup. So you just need a license, an internet connection, any device. I mean, any device, your mobile, your laptop, your iPad, any device that has an internet connection, you will have access to your Docs account. So this keeps your team on the same page, ensures accountability with single assignable, version-aware and issues and markups together with document control. So at the right, we can see a screenshot of the project file. So here we can see how we can create different projects. You can also create your project files using ISO 19650, or you can create your own, customize it on your own. So we can see how we can upload, we can see our Revit file, our AutoCAD file. You can upload more than 50 different file types using Autodesk Docs. And when I tell you that, of course, there's our permissions. So here we can give out certain permissions to certain people. We can, let's say, assign certain roles, certain responsibilities, and each of our members have different permissions as assigned. So let's say some of our members, they can only view, some of them they can edit, some of them they can share, and so on. And something else is that using Autodesk Docs, you can add your own comments, your own issues, your own markups. So this is really helpful for the reviewers. As we can walk in a bit, we can see how reviewers can use ABC Pro or Docs or build itself, let's say. And lastly, we can give out certain reviews to our files that has been uploaded to Docs. So Docs is a very wide and very powerful tool. So bringing it all in one slide was very hard, to be honest, but this is more of a summary, let's say, of how we can use Docs. And of course, Ram, if you have any comments on Docs, because I'm sure you do, please go ahead.
This is just like a normal one. Probably people would have known about this one. This construction document management is not the same as what other document management solutions are. Example, this makes like a project management or other construction management. And the other thing here is this construction document storage capacity is unlimited. It's a part of AEC collection as well, where you can also have your model stored in the cloud. That could be your AutoCAD, or that could be your civil infrastructure, civil 3D projects, or the Revit design and modeling projects as well here. And if you have a person in your office who need to have the access where he doesn't have the software, he can just get the document management access. He can view the complete model on the web browser, and he can also document saying like, RFI, I just need to have the door manufacturer's catalog or the lighting fixture manufacturer's catalog, or you can also have the very good chat between the person whom you're going to assign a job with the due date, but could be the drainage system or HVAC system and everything. At the end of the day, what is happening in the project, who is communicating to whom, on which scope, and who need to take a decision to make sure the work should be completed on time. And it also have your excellent BIM activity track report when anything that you wanted to perform for the audit functionalities. Yes, you can also just pull out all the details over it here. Great, Tulin. Yeah, can just move to the next slide now here. Yep. So
Great.
BIM Collaborate Pro, Tulin, you need to add more about this one here.
Yeah, so now let's explore why BIM Collaborate Pro is an excellent choice. So BIM Collaborate Pro is a project-oriented platform. It offers flexibility of working from anywhere at any time, which is especially beneficial for Revit, Civil 3D, Plan 3D users. So it's a cloud-based service that allows seamless collaboration on these models, regardless of your physical location or your project scale, of course. And one of its key features is data management, as we were saying before in Docs. So BIM Collaborate Pro acts as a unified platform where all users, stakeholders can access information and review drawings whenever necessary. So this platform isn't exclusive to Revit users or Civil 3D users. So here's where the cloud comes into play. It allows anyone, even if they're not using the desktop software, as I told you. So basically, the beauty of this cloud-based platform is that it opens the door for all users to participate actively in the project itself, whether it's commenting, marking it up, reviewing issues, or examining models itself. So BIM Collaborate Pro ensures that everyone's input, including stakeholders who might not have specialized software, is valued and heard.
And this is not just a normal webinar. You don't think that why we are just keep telling only the solutions, not we are diving deep into the one. And that's the secret of our webinar. We're just gonna pitch what are the solutions available for you in the AECO project industry, and the solutions which can connect your team, projects, and the data in the betterment, so that you can also streamline and monitor what exactly the things are happening in the projects. And all those cloud solutions we're gonna have in the couple of months. And we are also just plan to have this webinar, not like one webinar, it's gonna be the webinar series. And we also want to keep you engaged with that, so that at the end of the day, the whole webinar that you take away is that complete solution. If you know that you are an architect, you know that what is the right tool that you have to use, what would be the capability of the document management for your scope, and what would be the cloud solutions, can have a better idea connecting with the other stakeholder. And when it comes into the design reviewer, you know what to do with the tools and technologies as well. Yeah, that's great, Tulin. Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll go to next slide then.
Yes.
All right.
So now
So
on to
it's the project management tool from Autodesk Cloud Solutions. Yeah. So yeah, you can just brief the highlights about this tooling. Go ahead.
Indeed, indeed. It's the software for project management. So it empowers builders with a field execution and project management solution to seamlessly collaborate and deliver construction projects on time and, of course, on budget. So what it does, as we said, project management, quality management, safety management, project closeouts, cost management, document management. So here we can as well create issues, as we said earlier, using the cloud itself. From the issues itself, you can, let's say, assign them to a certain person. This is to hire the accountability. You can add your markups as well. And of course, you can create your own review and approval process using Autodesk Build.
That's great. And one more here, if you're from the financial and budget scope from your organization, you also have the chance of working on your cost management here. Well, cost management is also a part of your build a project management, and you can control which project that you need to have the cost management and which project that you don't want to have the cost management, one thing. And the other thing is, you can ask me that, Ram, I also have the project planned using the MS Office project or using the Primavera schedule. So what will happen with those where I spent a lot of time and energy preparing that? So don't worry, you can easily integrate those activities into the build, as part of the project scope activities, where you can also just work back and forth, and it will keep you as same as into the page of understanding what exactly the situations are into the projects, and when it comes into the budget forecasting, or when it comes into the change orders, or if you wanted to know more about the project closure, what are the documents that are pending from whom, and other thing. And if you wanted to also connect with the other project team or within your project on the dedicated folder structure, you do also have the bridge feature of connecting one project to another project, where you can also just take out all the data for your best workflow on this one here. That's great,
Thank you.
Talin. Yeah. And just move to the other slide. Yeah, take off scope analysis part over here. Yeah, Tolin, go ahead. So, Tolin, it looks like is it a takeoff one or a PDF editor? I don't understand what it is. I think you can explain it a bit more. It looks like a PDF for me.
Definitely, definitely. So Autodesk Takeoffs allows estimators to perform more accurate 2D takeoffs and generate automated quantities from 3D models within a single takeoff solution. So what we're doing right here, we're creating this 2D takeoffs. In a bit, I'm going to show you also the 3D takeoff. However, what we're doing, I have this PDF file. Of course, we have our sheets. We took them, let's say, from the architect, and then we need to start the takeoff process. So back in the days, we used to print out these sheets and just grab our highlighters, and we were going hysterically. It took us a lot of hours to complete one sheet, and then we needed to create schedules out of these sheets. Now, using takeoff, we can create these sheets. We can create takeoff, of course, processes, and it's very fast, especially if you had your 3D model. So if you had your 3D model, we can simply automate it as quickly as possible. So basically, we choose the element that we need to quantify. You can create, of course, your own materials, your own processes, and then we can just like select them all. And then you have your own schedule as fast, as simple as that. So rather than for it to taking a whole, let's say 4 hours to be more precise, to finish one sheet, it only can take you 5 minutes if it's a 3D model. If it's a 2D PDF file, it's going to take you anywhere up to 30 minutes, which is nothing compared to 4 hours. So your team members are going to have more time to create other PDF sheets. They're going to have more time doing anything else rather than wasting 4 hours on one simple sheet. So I showed you these, let's say, tutorials on how to create 2D and 3D takeoffs. And I believe from the video itself, it was very clear and we understood the whole process and how fast it is.
That's amazing. So, the document management, BIM Collaborate Pro, Build, Takeoff, are those are a part of AEC collection? How do I get the access to that, Tolin?
Of course, of course. Now they are part of the ACC collection, which is Autodesk Construction Cloud. Autodesk Construction Cloud has more than one solution within. Thank you for this question, Norm. This is very important. Basically, ACC has BIM Collaborate Pro, which we were talking about. It has Autodesk Docs, it has Autodesk Build, and it has Autodesk Takeoff. Now, if you got a license to, let's say, Build, BIM Collaborate Pro, or Takeoff, you, of course, have access to Docs. And I just want to say that if you have the AEC collection license, you also have, you can access Docs itself. And of course, each solution on its own, whether it was Takeoff, ABC Pro, or Build, has its own license. And they all have access to Docs. I hope this made sense.
That's great. Yeah. So don't be afraid that if you are already using the BIM Collaborate Pro, you don't have the document management access. So document management is the main area which works as a repository for all your folder structure. So as Tolin mentioned, the document management is a part of AEC collection. Plus, it is also a part of all your other cloud products like BIM Collaborate Pro, Build, and Takeoff as well. That's great. Amazing, Tolin. Yeah. So we'll go to the next slide then. Yeah. So here we are just giving you a quick highlights about what exactly the industry is saying wow about digital twin in AEC industry. These are some highlight points that we have just mentioned it over here. You have to stay tuned with us and you're gonna hear more about these features in an elaborated way with the practical examples as well. And it gonna come soon. So in a general way, digital twin in our industry, it works with the data, of course. Without a data, there's nothing can be modified or edited like that. So it's a real-time data analytic which will help the cloud integrations to have better communication protocols, sensor, and the migrations using all the Autodesk applications. So a part of the predictive analysis, when it comes into the recommendations, when it comes into the sensors, like it is also it can be easily integrated with the machine learning and also the artificial intelligence based on the scope of work that you do. And the simulation capabilities, such as you use Revit for modeling and you use Civil 3D for your roads and infrastructure projects, or using InfraWorks for your visualization of your infrastructure and the reality captures as well. So how are you gonna just get the data-rich models into the digital twin at the end of the day to develop all your the relevance floor plans as well, and how you can interact with other disciplines to scale up your model with all the solutions available within the Autodesk. So the Autodesk collection are designed as federated cloud-enabled system, which help you to integrate with other products. It become most of the Autodesk programs are now available as open product. So if you want to integrate AI feature on it, or if you want to come up with the Power BI feature, or if you wanted to come up with any other stakeholder products, like you are into the quantity takeoff or you are into the project management, all are available now with the Autodesk solutions. Of course, the procedures, the exercise workflows are different, but the answer here is yes, there are possibilities available here. So I hope we do have one more slide, I believe, to explain, to put it in the whole summary. Exactly. So this, I can call it as a summary slide for everyone attending this webinar to understand that in the design phase, simulation, visualization, and the coordination, what are the solutions are available from Autodesk. And you see a combined products over here. Am I right, Torin? Some of them are desktop products, some of them are cloud products, and all of them are integrated over here. So the more about the Twinmotion, which Tolin was emphasizing here, Twinmotion is also a part of AEC collection. So it don't need to worry about whether you need to register with Epic Games and pay for the license. No, if you have the valid license of AEC collection, or you are the AEC collection subscriber, use the same email ID and the password for this Twinmotion. And one more benefit of using this Twinmotion here is you can also have your virtual reality and augmented reality for your best project expectations as well. Yeah,
Indeed, indeed. Thank
that's
you,
great.
Ram. Thank you.
That's great.
And here, as Ram said, this is more of a summary of what we have been talking with. Again, and I repeat that if you have any other product that you'd like to know more about, but this were our recommendations to what you can use in the design phase, if you want to simulate, if you want to visualize, if you want to coordinate. Of course, there are much more products, but these are some tips and tricks that Ram and I have prepared for you. So basically, as Ram said, this is more of a summary. I hope this was helpful for you. And we have more than one solution when it comes to this slide. So basically, we have Twinmotion, which is included in the AEC collection. We have Docs, we have BIM Collaborate Pro, we have Build, we have Takeup. These are all parts of ACC, and the rest are part of the AEC. So I hope this was helpful for you. And if we move on, we can see that we are done with this session for today. If you have any questions, if you'd like to drop them in the chat, if you'd like to send them in our emails, we can see our email here, my own email, tulinawad@axianta.com, or Jam's email. And also he has his number. So if you have a very quick question, you can also give him a call. We're that accessible. And yes, so thank you so much all for attending. And I'm so happy that we got to experience this first webinar together. And I hope that you all can attend all of our other episodes, let's say, of this webinar series. And yeah, thank you so much, Ram. If you have anything to add, please go ahead.
Yeah, Tolin. Since we are planning this as a webinar series, again, I want to highlight that, you may get the webinar for individual product. For example, Revit as a core design and modeling software, or kind of the Twinmotion as a core visualization software, or reality capture, so on. So our humble request to all the people attending the webinar here, just try to reach out to your friends also. Let them understand that there is a webinar series happening. All right. So we are expecting that going to be a lot more people joining this webinar, so that because the solutions are available here. It's not about like I'm an architect only using AutoCAD, and this webinar also elevate you to think about moving into Revit, and moving into the cloud collaboration, and moving into like a competitive world of understanding what industry languages are. People are talking about LOD, BIM, CDE, VDC, ISO 19650. So stay connected with us, and you're gonna receive all the email updates when and how the webinars are happening and what would be the next topic. We are not revealing what is our next topic, since it's like our first webinar series. We are just wanted to increase the chance of getting more opportunities of bringing all the great minds to attend this webinar. That's great. And thank you, Tolin, for joining with us for the wonderful session. Let's continue furthermore on this one.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you, Ram.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Lovely meeting all of you, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.